The voices returned. Port Harcourt, 2006 to 2008. The bridge was gone, but the fear remained. Where the old timbers once crossed the Ellichy Creek, only rusted beams jutted from the water like broken teeth. For years, the current swept quietly, until the city began to grow again, and construction crews returned to reclaim the area. That's when the voices came back. The broadcast? It started one humid night in June 2006. Radio Port Harcourt's overnight show, Voices of the Night, was midway through a segment when the signal suddenly glitched. The host, Kim, heard a faint whisper through her headset. It wasn't feedback. It was language. A woman's voice, soft, rhythmic, as if reciting something underwater. Yo Miri, the river remembers. Her producer stared at the console, frozen. Every light on the soundboard flickered in perfect rhythm, like a pulse. The broadcast continued for 7 minutes, uninterrupted by human hands. Listeners flooded the station's phone lines, claiming they recognized one of the voices, a man who'd vanished 3 years earlier. When the audio was replayed later that week, it was silent. The recording was completely blank. The investigator returns. Journalist Chika Duru was one of the few who remembered the original bridge case. He'd written a series of articles about it before moving on to safer, less haunted work. But when he heard the new reports, something in him stirred, guilt or maybe unfinished business. He revisited old contacts, police, victims' families, even the fishermen who still refused to cast nets near the ruins. Every one of them said the same thing. The river has started talking again. One fisherman swore he'd heard a familiar male voice singing from beneath the water, Detective Owuru's. Chika laughed at first. Then he stopped, because deep down, he wanted to believe it. The phones. By 2007, the area had been marked for redevelopment. Contractors arrived, clearing the bush and preparing to lay foundations for a small residential estate. But their workers began quitting one by one. The first said he heard a ringtone coming from the river, an old Nokia tune over and over again. When he followed the sound, he saw a phone glowing beneath the surface, screen flickering like a heartbeat. Others said they saw faces in the water. Not reflections, faces looking up. A project manager recorded one of the incidents on his camcorder. When police reviewed the tape, the image was clear for the first 5 seconds. Then it turned to static. A faint voice whispered through the white noise. Let her be. They abandoned the project within the week. The Boy and the Dream. That August, a 12-year-old boy named Tachukwu began sleepwalking. He lived in Diobu, several streets away from the creek. Each night, his mother found him standing by the back door, whispering names she didn't recognize. One night she followed him. He walked barefoot, eyes half closed, until he reached the banks of the old bridge. There he stopped. He pointed to the water and said, "She's calling me to help her find the rest." His mother screamed, waking him. He didn't remember a thing. But when they checked the spot he pointed to, the next morning, police divers found a submerged bag full of old ID cards, all belonging to people who had vanished before 2005. The evidence room. Meanwhile, strange things began happening at the police archive. Case files from the bridge investigation were being found on desks overnight, pages rearranged, photographs moved. A new inspector, Grace Ibe, was assigned to inventory the department's cold cases. One night, while alone in the records room, she heard something, a steady dripping sound from the ceiling. When she looked up, she saw that the leak wasn't water. It was ink, dark and thick, falling from a single folder marked Benjamin Okoro. Inside, the pages were damp. The last line of the suspect's confession, which had been smudged years ago, was now perfectly legible. The river is not a grave. It is a mound. Grace shut the file and walked out without looking back. The return. In October 2008, on the anniversary of the Bridge of Fire, Port Harcourt was hit by its heaviest rain in years. Streets flooded, power lines sparked, and the Ellichy Creek overflowed for the first time since the incident. When the storm passed, locals found something glinting near the water, a rusted badge. It was Detective Owuru's, still polished enough for the number to show. That night, people living nearby swore they saw someone standing in the rain by the riverbank. A tall man in a drenched police coat, head bowed, murmuring softly. When they called out, he turned and vanished into the mist. But the next morning, footprints led from the river straight to the ruins of the bridge and stopped at the edge. The tapes. Before the decade ended, Radio Port Harcourt received a second package. Another tape, same handwriting as before. This time, Chica didn't open it alone. He called Inspector Grace Ibe to witness. When they played it, the same whispering began, only clearer, calmer, almost mournful. Then came a male voice. "Tell them the bridge is clean now. The debt is paid." Grace shivered. "Who are you?" she asked aloud, though the voice was a recording. There was a pause. Then, faintly, "Michael!" The tape stopped, and from that night onward, the voices ceased. Aftermath. By 2009, construction resumed at the old site. Workers found nothing. No bones, no relics, just sand and silence. The city moved on, as cities do. But sometimes, when rain falls hard on the zinc rooftops, the static on every radio in Port Harcourt hums in synchronization. And if you listen long enough, you might hear a faint echo beneath the white noise. A woman's voice, whispering not in fear, but in peace. "Let them sleep. Let them rest beneath."